99% of the world does not understand humility. Humility, a lot of times when we think of humility or even meekness, right? When Christ taught the meek will inherit the earth, everyone thinks of that. And I believe this is for a reason that this was taught from this hippie world. Oh, what it means to be humble and meek is you don't need, like you're just this useless worm, right? That is not what meekness means. That is not what humility means. If you think of yourself as a useless worm and think of that person who always is trying to be humble, always apologizing, spineless, oh, poor pity, like I'm humble, I don't need much and I think very little of myself, that is the wrong way to be. If you think little of yourself and you belittle yourself, that's not humility. That's just cowardice. That's just you being a beta. Okay? That is not humility. Humility, the definition of humility is greatness beyond measure and still willing to bend the knee. As if someone who's just this, worthless piece of crap, right? Or a worthless worm walking around, I'm so humble, and you bend the knee, you bend the knee to everyone. You're not humble. God doesn't accept your humility when you're humble to everyone. He doesn't want you to be humble to your fellow man. He wants you to be great. It is the king who rules over all nations, who still bends his will to the will of the Father, bends the knee to God. That is humility. It is greatness beyond all measure and still being willing to bend the knee and give the glory to God. Give the glory to something else. Serve something above yourself. And that is what meekness means. The meek are the great, are the powerful who shall inherit the earth. It is not weak. We always think of weakness when we think of meekness. Do not get this mixed. Meekness is greatness beyond all measure. It is strength. It is the power to, honestly, this surge of power that we have to control and have dominion over all things. That is meekness, and still being willing to bend the knee before God, to bend the knee to Christ, to bend the knee. If you are great beyond all measure and you're still willing to bend the knee, then you're meek. Honestly, the word meek comes from a Greek term, and it honestly refers to meeking a horse. What it means to meek a horse is to take the wildest horse and harness it and to use it. You don't want a horse that has no energy, no life. What we love about horses is their passion. We relate to horses because their passion, their stubbornness, their pride. Horses stand with pride. When you think of the glory of a horse, it stands with pride. It looks and you're like, oh, when you see a horse, my hell, is that thing a beautiful, amazing, powerful creature? And that's the horse you want. Because if you can control that, if that horse can be of service to you, then you have, if meek to horse, you have a powerful ally. And me, I choose to be a great and powerful ally for God. I choose to strive after greatness because that is meekness. That's humility. God doesn't want you to be weak. He wants you to be strong. He wants you to be a powerful tool in his hands that he can wield. And if you're willing to bend the knee, bend your powerful will to his, then you are a chosen servant in his hands. And he anointed you to be a king on the Most High. You were meant to have dominion over all things. And the promise of God is that you will have dominion over things, that you will inherit this earth. Those are the meek. That is true humility. And in order to have humility, you must have pride. People don't understand this. Pride is a good thing. In order to be humble, you must have pride. Again, think of a horse, right? When the horse stands and you see a powerful, mighty horse, nothing will mess with that horse. It stands with its chest up and its head up in supreme power. That's a powerful horse. That's a useful horse. Same thing with you. If you're constantly, down, shoulders forward and just this, I'm so humble. No, you're not. You're a worm and you've declared yourself to be a worm. If I could teach you who you really are, stand with your shoulders back and your head up and walk with pride. Walk with pride of who you are and the God you serve. Be prideful because in order to have humility, you must have pride. It is when you bend the knee to God that shows your humility. The only difference between Jesus Christ and the devil is they both have achieved a high level of power. The devil wasn't willing to bend the knee to God, but Christ gave his entire power and will to God. That is the prayer, thy will be done. And it is when I have a great and powerful and strong will, when I can speak and the elements obey, when I stand with pride, I as a prideful man, as a man, can now bend the knee in humility to God. That is true humility. That is what it means to be meek. And it is the strong and prideful who bend the knee in humility to God who will inherit the earth, not the weak.